Good afternoon, Aztecs. This is a very special newscast. I'm Carly.
My name's Casey. Let's get into the stories. Progress reports will be finalized this Friday, February 10th. Make sure to take advantage of Thursday's office hours and stay on top of your late assignments. Communicate with your teachers to have all your grades in line for this checkpoint. Use this progress report to keep you motivated and finish the quarter strong.
Say cheese. Club photos have started this week. Check the announcements or with your club to find out which days and times you will be photographed. Be sure to be on time at the gym since each club will only have 5 minutes for their photos.
Now to Lane with our Aztec Sports.
Hey Aztecs, I'm Lane 40, and this week in Aztec Sports, we have a special feature story for you. I sat down with boys basketball head coach Justin Subcheck on his journey back to his alma mater. Justin Subcheck has been a name known in the Coachella Valley basketball community for a while now, both as a player and a coach. As a player, Subcheck was dominant on the court, holds multiple school records as well as a league MVP. His love for the game continued into college, where he played at the University of Redlands for 4 years, before returning to Palm Desert for an assistant coaching job for 5 years, then landing his first head coaching gig at Cathedral City, where he coached the Lions for 1 year. Then, he took the Xavier Prep job, where he worked for 3 years. But when the Palm Desert position came open in early 2020, he knew it was his. So, when this job was going to open up, when you knew it was going to open up, what was your first initial reaction?
Kind of the ultimate plan was to come back here. I enjoyed my time at Xavier, but when I kind of found out it was opening up before it became public, so it was in the back of my head, but we were still in the middle of our season at Xavier, so my focus was on that season. Once our season ended in the playoffs, then things kind of heated up a little bit. And like I said, I played here. I was an assistant here for 5 years. The whole goal was to come back here and take over. So as soon as I heard that, I was really, really interested.
You know, your first year here, that COVID year, kind of threw everything a little bit off, but you guys still ended up grabbing a share of the league title. Yeah. What was that feeling like for you?
Relief, a little bit. You know, it's one of those ones, there's a lot of pressure coming back, and, you know, I feel like there's a lot more on my shoulders coaching here than any of my other stops because there's just history and, you know, there's a lot of history, and I want to live up to it. So to be able to get one in the first year, it takes a lot of pressure off of me, and I think now we can just go out and compete. And it was definitely a relief, and I thought we did a really good job. I thought we lost in the quarterfinals in overtime. DeAndre Sanders had a great game, and we were right there. We were a shot away, and Glendora, who beat us, ended up winning the whole thing. So we were, you know, a couple possessions away from a potential CIF championship. So it's one of those ones I look back on. We could have done a couple things differently, but it was a great first year. Obviously,
You know, as a player, you played here,
yeah,
and I'm sure you had a good experience. You're hanging up on the banners over there,
yeah.
All CIF, all league championships. You know, what do you want to pass down to your players now? You know,
I think just the fact of just competing night in and night out. You know, it's one of those ones. I think there's so many other things that are going on in the world today that I think competitiveness is a lost art. So I think that what I can bring to these kids day in and day out is they know how competitive I am. They know how much all this means to me. So if they can emulate me in that aspect, not just in basketball, but in life, I think it'll take them a long way because, you know, when you're in the real world, you got to compete for a job. You got to compete for everything you do. And if you don't have that mindset, I think people get lost in the shuffle. So I think myself and the coaching staff have that competitiveness that we pass on to our kids.
2 kids now.
Yeah.
You have your daughter,
Yep.
Avery, right?
Avery, yep.
And your son, Kylan?
Kylan, correct.
You know, your daughter, her first real memories are going to be coming to some of Dad's games, and your son, Kylan,
Yep.
he's how old now?
Just turned 5 months.
Just turned 5 months.
So.
You know, he's just been around basketball ever since.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
And then, you know, how important is that to you to know that their experiences with you, you know, growing?
I think that's the cool part. I think that, you know, them having their first memories of being at Palm Desert games and being with Dad and, you know, watching the cheerleaders and, you know, watching the players and just being part of it and being around it. And, you know, I didn't have that luxury growing up around the game. You know, I was introduced to it a little bit later in life. So to be able to bring them into it at such a young age, it's a really cool deal. You know, Avery's really starting to, you know, ask Dad if she can start playing now. And it's getting real, you know, and Kylan's obviously very young, but you know, he's right around the corner, and they're at every game, home and away, and you know, it's just a cool experience. I know you and your dad had that kind of bond as well, and you know, I'm hoping to have something similar with Kylan and Avery. So
definitely fun. Last question.
Yeah.
You know, your legacy as a player here is already cemented, as you can see on those banners. But you know, if you retire here, you say your entire career, or bigger, better opportunities come about. What do you want your legacy to be as a coach?
You know, and this is out of all due respect, Coach Brady is basically my father figure. Not having my dad growing up, he was that. Between he and my grandpa, those were my father figures. And he'll tell you the same thing. I want to beat his wins record. And that's that's not a shot at him. That's a respect. That's the ultimate respect. But I want to break that record. I would like to bring a CIF championship before I retire. We're just getting started here. I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. We're building this thing from the ground up, and we're gonna, hopefully be real successful over the next 15, 20, 30 years. I'm happy here. This is home to me, and I don't want to go anywhere.
I think it's safe to say Coach Subcheck was a slam dunk hire for Palm Desert. Well, Aztecs, that's all I have for this time. Make sure to tune back in next week for more updates of all things Aztec Sports. I'm Lane 40, and I'll see you soon.
In global news, Turkey and Syria were hit by a devastating 7.8 magnitude earthquake on Monday. Thousands have been killed by the quake, and aftershocks continue to hit the region. More damage has been reported in Syria. You can talk with your families about donating to any organization that is working to help those affected. We wish a prompt recovery for the regions and all those affected. Living in California, it is very important for us to understand the importance of staying safe in the event of an earthquake. Make sure you have a plan at home and take those earthquake drills at school very seriously. Being prepared is the most important way to protect yourself during an earthquake. Stay safe, Aztecs.
Thank you, Aztecs, for tuning in. Hope to see you in the next news announcements.
Have a great weekend, Aztecs.